Hi, this is Allison Caldwell. I'm a Senior Ruby Ambassador, and I'm really excited to be here on Dual Highs talking to you guys about mindset. That's something that in the course of my business, I've been with Plexus for almost 3 years now. I've done that very well at times, and I've done that really poorly at times. So I wanted to share a little bit about what I've learned so far. Most recently, the thing that spoke to me and kind of pulled me back from where I've been in, honestly, kind of a funk for about a year, not really in a good mindset, and doing the things I knew I needed to do, but I wasn't really believing it. So what changed for me this time was listening to a Preston Pugmire training that one of our diamonds did for us, and he talked about, I have a picture of his tree that he talked about here. He talked about the top of your tree, don't laugh at my artwork, top of your tree with all the fruit and everything. That's the results of what you've been doing. The trunk is the actions. It's, the steps that you're taking, the activity. But the roots, what's bringing the nutrients to everything else, what's making it grow is your beliefs and your mindset. And that, for me, I'm a visual learner, so that just really resonated with me, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what it is. The way that he says it actually is that if it was all about the information, if that's all it took, we'd all be successful, right? Everybody would have millions of dollars and six-pack abs because we're in the age of information and it's at our fingertips all the time. So why don't we? Because we don't believe it. We don't work on that mindset part. And if you don't believe that you can do something, then the steps really don't matter. So you have to work on your mindset to make sure that the steps that you are taking are effective. You can't do all of this with mindset alone, but if you start with mindset, what you do, your actions will be more effective. I've actually seen that over and over again in my business. One of the things that I found I had to get out of when I first started was a fixed mindset. There's a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And if you're in a fixed mindset, and this is kind of, not necessarily all of them, but a lot of them that's where I was when I started Plexus. I thought that you kind of were fixed in your talents and your intelligence, and there were things that you're good at and things that you're just not. I believed that failure defined who I was. That was really, really hard for me to get past. I like to hide my flaws. I like to avoid things that challenged, especially growth in me. I wasn't a big fan of feedback, to be perfectly honest with you. I viewed that as personal criticism, and I took that as an attack. I was threatened sometimes by other people's success because I felt like there wasn't enough to go around. And all of those things are part of a fixed mindset, y'all, and that is not a way to grow in your business. So what I've worked really hard on changing is over to a growth mindset. And in that, and I'm looking at notes, so y'all don't worry while I look down, because I am learning and intelligence is not fixed. So intelligence and talents can be developed. I believe that effort is the path to mastery. So you have to try things over and over again in order to get good at them. Mistakes are part of learning. Failure is an opportunity, and it's temporary. Y'all, it's temporary. It happens a lot because as we're growing, we're failing, right? But they're temporary and they don't define you. They're saying, okay, I found that way that didn't work. Let me find another way that did. So you embrace the challenges, you welcome feedback, and you see other people's successes as inspirational. So that's the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And for me, that was a huge difference. I've actually done several different businesses prior to Plexus, and I was never really successful in any of them. I had little bits of success here and there, but honestly, the one thing that's been different here is that I've actually worked on my mindset. I've worked on changing my self-talk. Because when you're in things like network marketing, any business, regardless of whether it's Plexus or not, when you have a fixed mindset, you're saying things to yourself like, well, I've talked to everybody I know. I mean, I don't know who else to talk to. Lots of people join in the beginning, but it's not realistic to really kind of keep up recruiting like that. Like there's just, you'll eventually slow down. Or you have to be like so-and-so to be successful. Put in whoever it is that you admire, that you watch their videos, your favorite diamond, that you're watching all of her training stuff. You have to be like so-and-so to be successful. Those are not true, y'all, because God gave her gifts and talents to grow her business or his business, whoever it is. God gave them their special gifts and talents so that they could bring the message that he had for them to bring. He gave me something different. He gave you something different. So we're not called to be like each other. We have to go on our own path, because the way that we say things, whether it's to ourselves or whether it's to somebody else, the way that we say things is taken differently. You can hear things over and over and over again from different people, and all of a sudden it clicks. And it can be almost exactly the same words, right? But suddenly you hear it, and a lot of times it's because you're mentally in a different place. You're ready to hear it. You've been working on something that suddenly made you ready to hear that. So I want you to focus on working on a growth mindset, being open to those things, work on your self-talk, talk yourself up. You can do this. And if you're saying like, okay, well, I'm not really good at this, say, okay, well, what am I missing? What is it that I need to look at and to try to change, or, ask for some help? Instead of saying something like, this is too hard. Okay, this might take some time and effort. Well, she's so smart, but I'm not. Instead, say, well, I'm going to figure out how she does it, because guess what? She doesn't have anything you don't have. Well, that's good enough. That's good enough. But is it really your best work? Try thinking, okay, well, is that my best work? Is that what I want to put out there? Those are just some different kind of phrases that you can change around a little bit to retrain your brain to think in a different way, and to think with that growth mindset and opening up your possibilities and your beliefs. And I wanted to read really quickly for those of you who haven't heard this. It is Two Wolves, and it's an old Cherokee Indian legend that talks about the most important battle in our lives, right? The battle between good and bad thoughts, basically. So it's very short. The story goes, an old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. A fight is going on inside me, he said to the boy. It is a terrible fight, and it's between two wolves. One is evil. He has anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continued, the other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you, and inside every other person too. The grandson thought about it for a minute and then asked his grandfather, which wolf will win? The old Cherokee simply replied, the one you feed. Y'all, that has stuck with me. I heard that probably 12 or 13 years ago, and when I was in a different company, and that has stuck with me the whole time, because I had so many of those negative thoughts and behaviors. And if you feed them, then that's what's winning. So all you have to do is feed the other one. It's not a difficult thing to do, but it does take consistent effort. So, don't let your thoughts be your own worst enemy. Let them be your best cheerleader. Let them be your best friend. Let them empower you and lift you up and build you up. So I think that was all I wanted to share with you guys today. But like I said, sometimes we do mindset well, and sometimes we fail at it a little bit, and that's okay. Failure is not permanent. It doesn't define you. You move forward, you learn new things, listen to some podcasts, do whatever it is you need to do, read some self-help books, things like that, and change that mindset, because it's something that you can do almost instantly. And then you have to keep doing it in order to make that a habit, to make that a consistent thought process. So it does take some time to retrain your brain, but y'all, it is so, so worth it. So thank you so much, and I hope y'all are having a wonderful day.